When the world's biggest monster clashes with New York's most agile hero, chaos is guaranteed. In Godzilla vs. Spider-Man, we witness an absurd showdown between brute strength and speed, as the city turns into a battlefield. And no one is safe. New York's routine was interrupted by a colossal roar. Emerging from the Hudson River, Godzilla rose like a living wall, spreading destruction with each step. The armed forces responded quickly, but their weapons were useless against the ancient creature. As the city plunged into chaos, Peter Parker, Spider-Man, struggled with personal and professional dilemmas, including the constant harassment from J. Jonah Jameson, who kept trying to paint him as a threat. But faced with the Colossus now crushing streets and buildings, Peter's sense of responsibility spoke louder. Using his web, he zipped across the city to help trapped civilians, dodging debris and explosions. As people fled in panic, he knew he had to do something, even if it meant facing an enemy far beyond his scale. While the military tried to contain Godzilla, Peter approached the area of greatest destruction. There, he encountered Dr. Curt Connors, the lizard, who had been freed from his prison during the chaos. Taken over by reptilian fury, Connors believed Godzilla was some kind of superior ancestor, a symbol of reptile dominance over humanity. In a fit of madness, the lizard tried to communicate with the creature, and was nearly crushed in the process. Spider-Man intervened, saving Connors just in time. But tension mounted. Godzilla wasn't just a threat, he was a magnet for the worst of human and mutant nature. Peter now faced two dangers, the giant monster and the delusion of the deranged scientist. Amid the chaos, the city still waited for a savior. And even without knowing how to stop the monster, Peter knew he had to try. As the battle intensified, the destruction reached the Daily Bugle building. J. Jonah Jameson, true to his obsession, kept blaming Spider-Man for everything, even in the face of overwhelming evidence that the real threat was something else. In a moment of pure heroism, Peter entered the collapsing building to save Jameson and the staff. With debris falling, webs being shot at the last second, and screams echoing through the hallways, Spider-Man once again proved his worth, even without recognition. Jameson, out of pride, refused to thank him, but it was clear in his eyes that something had changed. Peter managed to save everyone, but the Bugle was destroyed. Newspaper pages turned to ashes in the wind, just like the city's fragile stability. Godzilla continued on, relentless. The final clash was drawing closer. Determined to face Godzilla, Peter devised a bold plan. He would lead the creature to the Brooklyn Bridge, where engineers and the military had set a trap with experimental charges. Using his webs, Spider-Man provoked the monster, throwing debris and using lights to get its attention. The strategy worked. Godzilla followed the hero to the bridge. But nothing went as planned. The structure began to collapse under the creature's weight, and the explosives failed. In a desperate sequence, Peter saved dozens of people while trying to keep Godzilla trapped on the bridge. The monster roared, destroying everything around him, and every movement was a risk of death. Even with all his skill, Spider-Man was hurled against concrete and nearly lost consciousness. But with willpower and a hero's instinct, he returned to the fight. The city now depended on a miracle, or a final act of courage. With the combined efforts of Spider-Man, the military, and Connors, now in his human form, a solution emerged. Using a sonic device based on the lizard's own experiments, they managed to emit a frequency capable of disorienting Godzilla. The monster, stunned, retreated into the waters of the Hudson. His massive figure slowly disappeared on the horizon, leaving behind a devastated city and a shocked, but living, people. Peter, exhausted, sat atop a ruined building and watched the sunrise. He knew danger could return at any moment, but for now, New York was safe. Jameson, in an unprecedented editorial, wrote, "Maybe the spider did save us. I won't admit more than that." For Peter Parker, that was more than enough. The city breathed a sigh of relief, and the hero remained anonymous among the rubble, ready for the next challenge. And that's another page in the Heroic Chronicles. If you enjoyed this story, Leave a like and subscribe for more untold tales from the world of comics. There's always another hero, another villain, and another turning point waiting in the shadows. See you in the next chapter.